Hi friends, welcome to my channel AWAC Arts, where I will be sharing with you some tips on how to get your drawings, especially characters like superheroes or comic book characters or any type of character in a much better posture or in a much better way than how you draw without any type of construction lines or anything. And also friends, if you find the content interesting, please like, share and support my channel, subscribe to my channel, and I'll share with you some more such contents. So without further ado, let's begin. This is actually digital art on about which is I'm going to discuss. And so the app on which I do my drawings here as of lately is called Ibis Paint X, which has a very good rating on Play Store, which is free of cost. And here you can see the daily ranking of artworks which are topped one of the best. So here you have an online gallery where you can see other artist or illustrators artwork, and in the collection box you have all those works which you download. Now when I go to my gallery, okay, so before going to my gallery there are settings. So you have your preferences, you set up your account here, and if you have any problem just click on the question mark and you'll get help on how to use this. So here you can see I have many of my artworks here. So the artwork which I'm going to discuss today is my Logan artwork, so which would give you a much better understanding on how to get your figures correct in a drawing. So I'll play this video, which this app also records all my artworks video on how I did it, or what steps I did first and what I did last. So I'll play this. It took me about 5 to 6 hours to complete this drawing because I couldn't allot too much time for this. That's why it took long. I had to take breaks in between, I was in job and all. So I'll play the video for you, and let's start. So you can see first I go with the stick figures which are in the posture which I want the character to be. Then I add muscles, or you can say, if you see the wooden figures in shops like that, I draw a puppet first, where I check on how the character would look like in a certain posture. So I did this, and by the claws you can see the figure should obviously have those claws, because obviously I'm going to draw Wolverine. So first I went with the normal dress, which many of the people would remember from comic books and cartoon shows. Wolverine's traditional dress. I did start with this, but eventually I raised it off, so I wanted much more definition to the character. So now what I'm doing here is I'm drawing the muscles and the features of his face and how it would be before adding the main features. So and if there is anything wrong with the sizing of the fists or legs, position of the legs, I change it all. So this app lets me to make layers so that I can create layers upon layers. So it actually, for a free app, it's one of the best out there. It has a very good rating. You can get in Play Store and also on your Apple Store. So here, as you can see, I went with Logan without the mask, and the dress which I'm going to be making, or the gears which I would be making for him, would be the ones on his character as of Uncanny X-Men. So I have to get that belt right. Okay, so all of this without a stylus, so it would take me, it's not much of an artwork, but without a stylus, working on an Android device, especially mobile phone, it's kind of tough. So I had to take breaks. for my work to complete this figure. Now we all know Logan's main features. His hair, that's a tick mark. His angry face, that's a tick mark, and his claws. And if you look at Logan's character in comic books, he would always be in attacking position. He is a Wolverine. So now I'm going to give some shade to the character. So that was the main outline of how he looks good. Great. Now to shade, I put the light source to his left side, that is on the left side of him, and on the right side of our screens. So as I have indicated this as a arrow mark. Now before adding all the blacks, what I do is I outline the shade to get an idea. So all of these steps, no matter what you're doing, be it on traditional paper art or digital art, doesn't matter, all of these steps are applicable to both. So do use these ideas, or do use these tips to get a much better figure or character than how you do without these steps. So well, these are some of the ideas which I got from big creators like Jim Lee, and all the comic fans would know who Jim Lee is. He's a chief executive officer of DC at the moment. So I didn't like the black dress, I removed it. I am outlining him again. I added his buff muscle figure, which I used as a base before, to add the outline of his shadows. So I know for my first video it's a bit long one, but I wanted to show you and what all I did to make this figure as it is. So first the outlining, then the shades, or then blacking it in to indicate that the light source is to his left. So I did add extra shadows just to give him a much cooler look, and I will adjust his claws also a bit, but that's later. So digital art plus point are these stuffs. You can add anything or you can erase anything you want afterwards, and that it doesn't take too much of a time. But when you're doing it traditionally, it takes too much of time. You sit and erase and all those stuff. Sometimes it's not possible at all. So digital art does, but the best thing is traditional art. These are just pixels, and then those are not pixels. That is some major stuff. So now here you can see I'm adding the hatching, cross hatching it's called. So add to give a great tint to the character, so it looks better even if you don't color it. Also it is to show the lighter shadows, light shades, apart from the blacked out areas where the light won't be falling as much. So all of this depends on you, the shading and the rendering process. Rendering process is the process where you have the crosshatch and everything. That depends on you. It varies from one person to another. So sorry for the bark, so my dog is shouting at other dogs, so I'm sorry for that. So let's continue with the figure, and took me a lot of time to add the cross hatching and doing the hatch process. So since I'll wait for her to keep quiet. Okay, she seems quiet. Okay, so it takes time, and as I told you, there's no stylus used here, and just using my fingers to do all this stuff. So I changed the claws as I told you earlier. After this, I would be doing is I would be coloring it. So in regards to the colors, first I would add the base color. So always remember this: add your base colors first. You want to know what you want to always be always be mindful at what your character is going to look, or what the main colors are going to reflect on him. The shading comes afterwards, so add your base colors first, then do the shading. So as I told you, I went with the blue, dark blue, and yellow dress. So instead of going with the black glove, I went with the gray glove, because that would highlight it a bit more, since there is already too much black, so I didn't go with the black one. Now the hair stuff. Also regarding the hair, I also didn't go for the total black hair, because I wanted to get those that slick lines which show his head standing out, so that it would stand out from the normal shadows. So okay, let's move forward. Now what I'll doing is I'll be adding shades to these colors. Let's see how it gets done. Okay, the claws, I wanted it to shine a bit more, so I went with a light blue shade. Okay, it does seem a bit dark because of the shades which I use there. Now for shading, I selected the portions which I wanted to shade, or which I wanted to be shaded. So I just selected those and color darker color than the early one. So you can see that it does give it a much better look. Plus, as I told you, words of praise for the app doesn't decrease. It can let you do too many stuff. There is also a comic frame divider, so I think you can make comics too, but depends on how you use the app. On bigger tablet, this would works well. Free app, you can use the contents of this app, the enhanced feature, by just seeing a video. Also, if you I think that it's about $220 a month, and you get extra features like pressurization also. Now okay, I tried to add a background, it didn't work out well. Now this can be done, which I will be showing to you in one of my later videos, and how to add backgrounds. It's very easy. So I'm adding the bit light touch to the full character to make him pop out a bit more, and also indicate where the light source is. This will give him a much better look, and also add shades to his claws. It's like I also should have gone for the word pop out. So that's it. So this is the figure which I wanted to show to you. I think it's good, but depends on if you like it or not. And if you have any doubts or any clarifications on how to use the app, or how to get your characters much better, please mention it in the comments. If you want more such videos and more contents, please like, share and subscribe, and also let me know in the videos below. And as you can see, my other two characters, they're already there on my YouTube channel. Have a look at them. They are short videos which I made, and I can see how I made with them. Here the Captain America one, I used a Daredevil statue from the Netflix series as a reference, but that's just for the posture, nothing else. So you can use other photo references to get much better. And as I mentioned, any doubts and any character which you want me to paint or me to make, do let me know. And have a good day or good night, depending on where you are, and take care. Bye bye.